Hi, everybody. This is George. I want to thank you for being here for week 5. Can you believe it? We are in week 5. So, thank you for all the energy and effort you've put forward into our class. I hope you're gaining some meaningful tools that you can take away from our class. I just absolutely know that this is not the only thing tugging at you for your time and energy. So thank you for making that commitment and putting forward this fantastic effort. So I do applaud you. Fantastic effort. So thank you so much. And let's jump into week 5. Week 5, valuing other languages. I kind of take this one a bit personal because when I was a trainer for Lockheed Martin, I was just starting. So it was after I was in the military, and actually learned how to speak Tagalog pretty well when I was overseas in the Philippines, but it didn't stick. I learned it. And I was able to hold a decent conversation with people in Tagalog, but when I didn't use it for a little while, I lost it. So fast forward a couple years to when I was a trainer at Lockheed Martin. The collective bargaining agreement that the company and the union entered into one year, they were going to no longer hire janitorial staff. They were going to contract it out. So the agreement that the company union came up with is that everyone who was currently a janitor would be trained how to be an electrical assembler. Well, uh, I was the one that had to do the training and had to conduct the training. And a couple of folks in there, several of folks, Spanish was their primary language, was their first language. They knew how to speak English, but Spanish was their primary language. And what I learned, especially from one lady, she was in her late 50s and she was learning a brand new skill, electrical assembly, at that age. And I just thought that that was amazing. She's one of the most amazing people I've ever met, actually, because what happened was we had a language barrier. She spoke primarily Spanish, and I spoke all English. So we were able to connect because on a level with, she knew that I cared and she cared, and we had people that could help us communicate and get all the data that needed to come across. And what I found was that she had an amazing uh, perspective on building electrical harnesses and things like that simply because she thought differently. And how did she think differently? Well, when you learn different languages, you kind of grow up with different perspectives because we describe things different. We look at things different. We talk about things differently. And that is a beautiful thing because what that does is that grows all of our perspective. So, me as the instructor at that time, I learned a lot. And what I learned primarily was how to look at things in a slightly different method because so often when you're training physical skills, you're thinking step one, step two, step three, step four. Well, where you need to value, where I learned to value other languages was because of the perspective she had from the way she described and thought of things. When something would go wrong, she had a unique way of coming up with solutions. And I just thought that was absolutely mind blowing because I wasn't into psychology at that time. I had no clue. I was a mechanic who trained to be a trainer and generally loved people and loved doing what I did, but I had no idea about language and the power that it has for perspective. So as we embrace each other, embrace that different language because of the perspective that it gives us. It was just a very pivotal time for me when I saw that. Wow, okay, light. That was actually one of the times when, hey, I want to start studying different things to learn why this is. And that was kind of one of those things that nudged me in the way of studying psychology when I was never going back to school. But now I have my doctorate degree. So those things, that's God's way of just kind of nudging us. So when we're quiet, we could feel those nudges and those pushes and things that are interesting, amazing things that can happen. So I owe her a debt of gratitude for helping me get on the education background that I have now. So uh, it's something to value, and not just because it's a language, but because of the perspective that the language gives us. So have a great week. I look forward to talking to everybody on the discussion boards.